Okay, so I went over to the hardware store this morning and they had some seed potatoes for sale. But these, I thought, hey, I'll try to grow these. But I've got some out of the package already, but as you can see, these are well past when they should have been purchased. So right now what I'm doing is I'm cutting these out of the netting, trying to get them. I've got 1, 2, 4 left in there. And these I've already cut out, and this is what they look like. You can see they're a little bit dried up, and I've got to plant these right away. And I've got an idea that because these are so long, I can probably plant the potato in the bottom of a bucket and pile dirt up and keep this so that maybe this part is just above the level of the dirt. And do this to all of these so that just maybe this much is sticking out of the dirt, and theoretically all of this stem should sprout potatoes. So that's kind of the theory that I'm working on here to see how this goes. So let me get the rest of these cut out of this bag and we'll try to plant them. Okay, there's all 8 of them cut out of that bag. And I wasn't successful in all of them. It's this one here. I guess that growing vine just kind of broke off. But it looks like it still has, quite a bit of life left in it. So I'm sure this will sprout if I plant it. Matter of fact, I'll plant this one up here where I don't have a lot of vines, so I can see how it grows. Now these, most of them just have 1 vine sticking out of them, but there's 8 altogether. So let's see how this goes. Okay, now I brought in a nice little big bucket from outside, and the way I'm going to do this is I made this soil quite wet. So what I'm going to do here is dig a hole like that, round it out, and then I'm going to push that down in there. Not as far as it'll go. It won't go quite to the bottom of the bucket, but close. Now, if you look, see there's something sticking up there, but there's about 6-8 inches to the potato. So this ought to grow because there's enough sticking up that the sunshine would like it, and everything below this level should sprout potatoes, and we'll see how it goes. And what I've also got here is I had this is an automatic watering thing from my system, and we used to have a tomato here, but I thought, let's put this here, try to grow these potatoes and see how they go. So this will water it. Now as this grows, it should, if it gets, up above here, I'll start filling in the rest of this with dirt. And we'll see how it grows. So let me get the rest of these in. Okay, there they are. There's 7 of them planted in there. See, and there's 1, well I don't need to count them, but there's 7 of them planted in there. And we'll let them grow. Soil's awful wet right now, so we'll let that dry out just a little bit before we start watering it again. But hopefully those will leaf up, and when they do, I'll start putting more dirt in there. And right here is where I planted the one without any vines coming off of it. So we'll see how that one grows too. So we can maybe make a comparison, see how long it takes for that one to hit the surface. And I've got another one planted over here, by the way. That's a red potato, and that's doing quite well. So I think potatoes like it in here. I'm worried about this being as shallow as it is. It might not do too well, but we'll see. Okay, so the dirt that I'm going to put on top of those potatoes is coming out of my compost pile here. And what I do is I do this very simple. I've got 2 garbage cans, and we take the kitchen compost and throw it in there. And then every now and then, we'll dump it into this empty one, and then we'll dump that one over here into that one, and that's how we aerate them. So you can see here that there are chunks in this bucket here, but I think it's dissolved or composted well enough that I'm not going to worry too much about it. We'll just pour them right on top of the potatoes like they are, and see how they do. Okay, it is the 20th of June today, and I didn't film it, but I should have. But this potato plant here, these red potatoes, I just harvested those, and boy, were they good. There was a lot of potatoes. There's about 7 or 8 potatoes, and look how small of a container this is, how deep that is. It's not very deep. Now this potato, I brought it back out here because it was a little gushy. I'm not sure why, but that's about the average size of the 7 or so potatoes I got out of here. There were 3 or 4 that were bigger than this quite a bit, and then there were 3 or 4 that were smaller than this. So it turned out pretty good, and only a little more than a month, and it's quite interesting. Now if you go over here, remember that one potato that I planted in here that I said had no sprouts on it at all, and we'll see what happens to it. Well, this is what happened to it. Now remember, that was about a month ago I did this. It's the 20th again today. So this is growing quite well, and it's like I say, it's a rather small container, so it's doing well. Now let's go over to the bigger container. Now that one is right here, and look at that. Now I've been piling dirt in here. I don't know if you can see it, but see, there's dirt. I'm not sure what these are. It's something that was there. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to let them grow, but you can see how well these things have grown. Now remember, I planted these potatoes just a little over a month ago. I think it was the 14th or 11th of May. It is the 20th of June right now. And notice how fast they've grown. Now what I've got to do is put a little more dirt in here so that I can cover these stems up a little more. Let's just see how well it does grow. But as you can see, potatoes grow really good in here, and I have always thought that warm places wouldn't do very well for potatoes. And it's always quite warm in here because it's a sun deck. As you can see, there's this way faces east, and then there's a transparent ceiling. So this gets a lot of sunshine, and I do have cooling coming in, but it's not enough to keep it really cool in here. It's 90 or so in here all the time. But anyway, look at those potatoes. They're doing really well.